What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're doing well today. I got a review for you. Let's get into it. All right, guys, I'm super excited to check this one out. It is another new model from CJRB, and the previous model that I checked out from them is why I wanted to check this out. Plus, it's a collab with a designer that I really like. We're going to be looking at the CJRB Prado. Okay, so what we're going to do today before we get into it is and I apologize, it is like daylight, so I have just a little hint of light making it past the shades here, and I'm not quite sure how to get that to stop. Anyway, we're going to be doing some size comparison, profile comparison, then we'll jump into the weight and my thoughts and impressions. Let's kick it off with a couple of size comparisons. We're going to use these budget knives that I have here first because this is definitely more budget oriented. Here it is against the Migron Moriarty. You can see that this one is definitely a full-size knife, and then here it is against the Civivi Amorite, and I would say that the Amorite and the Prado are very comparable as far as size, so we'll use those for the profile comparisons that we're going to do here in just a moment. Let's bring out a couple more folders for you guys. We're going to bring out the Spyderco Para 3 Lightweight, also very comparable to your Rat 2. And let's move the Amorite to the side for a second. Bring out that Spyderco Shaman. You guys know I love my Shaman. Very comparable in size. The Prado is actually just a skosh longer overall, and the Shaman is very comparable to your Rat 1 and your PM2. So if you're more familiar with those models, that's how they compare. Let's do the thickness profile comparisons real quick, guys. And you'll see that the Shaman is just a skosh thicker. And then we'll bring out actually, I'm not done with you. We'll do the Amorite next. And the Amorite, sorry, it's sliding a little bit on me. Just keep sliding. Hold still there. Okay, you know what? I try not to put the thumb in there because I feel like that kind of disrupts the view, but you can see just a skosh thicker, pretty close. I mean, if you wanted to call it even, I wouldn't really debate it. It's not even worth it. And I got the wrong knife in the middle. I am struggling this morning. All right, let's see here. It is early too, by the way. As far as the way that it carries in pocket, I would just call it pretty similar in depth for both. It's going to carry very deep, similar to the Amorite, and then I think it is going to carry the thinnest out of everything in here. So least amount of real estate for a full-size knife. Let's go ahead and grab this scale really quick, check that weight out. While I'm doing that, don't forget to make sure that you are subscribed and leave a like if you enjoyed that video. We are coming in at 3.4 ounces. That is pretty good. Let's just see, how does it compare to the Amorite. Amorite's over 4, and I know the Shaman's over 5. Yeah, so it is a very lightweight knife for the size. Really good job there, CJRB, balancing size and weight. All right, while we're doing this part of it, before we jump into the next part, I'm just going to go ahead and get the spine whack test out of the way. If you saw the CJRB Hector review, which I didn't leave that behind my laptop over here, the CJRB Hector I did the review on, and I had a little bit of an issue with it out on the tip, but then when I took it apart, it was actually a little dirty on the crossbar lock. So when I was able to clean everything, put it back together, and conducted that test again, it passed. It never failed. So that's just one of the ways you can test it. So we're going to test this one. We're going to start right here behind the thumb deployment on the flat part. It's going to be so loud. It is so loud. I like to reset the lock on these because that vibration maybe could cause the lock to bounce, get out of its proper position in the locked out position. And I'm just simulating an accidental whacking. For those that are beating it, that's more batoning. Like if you're batoning, trying to use this tip out here to hammer on to get through like a piece of log or something for firewood. And that's not really what I'm trying to replicate here. I'm just trying to replicate like an accidental. So we're going to move off the spine for the second whack. We're going to come here into the middle best I can. Okay, so I went out a little bit towards the tip there. So reset that lock, go out to the tip for the last one. Okay, so this one probably is a clean sample. Like when I cleaned with the Hector, it probably has no dirt or debris, and it's probably settled a little bit better because I actually carried this one. Not carried, sorry. I had it on hand the last few days at home working in the office and have been just fidgeting with it because I figured since I didn't do that with the Hector, I wanted to go ahead and give this one the opportunity to kind of settle in and break in. So I wanted to do that first. Let's go ahead and go to the garage first, and we'll do that cutting. All right, let's see how the Prado does. Got a sheet of paper here. We're gonna just test this factory fresh edge, ARPM 9. If you're not familiar with the blade steel, and Artisan seems to be doing or continuing to do a really good job with their RPM 9. We're gonna start with some denim here. It's got a good belly on it. I'm gonna go out on the tip on the belly. We'll just see how it does for some tabletop cutting. Yeah, going straight through, nice geometry. Pretty much went all the way through. Let's see if I can do a little bit of a better job with that cut. Yeah, there we go. So just a little bit of pressure pushes it straight through the denim. It's very comfortable. That jimping is really helping out here, guys. Very, very comfortable, very consistent going through there. This is a little bit of a tougher zip tie than what I have been using for these tests, so I'm gonna put a little more pressure on it. Yeah, and it did go through most of the denim on that cut, but pretty good overall. It does have a lot of bite. It feels like it's sawing through here pretty well. This is definitely a cheap denim, it feels like. I mean, I don't know if there is such a thing, but it's frailing up a lot, and there's a lot of debris coming back, and I think I'm getting hung up, there we go, in a spot on the cutting board. So it does go through the materials pretty good. I'm gonna move this down here. Let's just see if on a surface that supports the zip tie a little bit better, if it'll have that bite that I'm looking for. I'm just gonna use the tip. Yeah, a little bit of extra pressure. I'm definitely have to put some muscle into the bite here. But again, this is a little bit of a thicker zip tie than I normally use to demonstrate. And I do this to demonstrate, like if you were trying to break the zip tie off of something that it was fastened very securely to. So it does have the bite. It does not appear to be affecting the edge at all. It looks like it's holding up very well, and I hit the same spot each time on the tip there, really far out on the tip, and it looks like it has some pretty good strength, so that is impressive. Now for our good old-fashioned cardboard cutting test. Yeah, it is very slicey, guys. It's a very thin geometry on this one, and it moves through the material very nicely. Good bite into the cardboard. RPM 9 kind of reminds me of something that would be along the lines of 9CR18 MOV and VG10. Like if I had to pick steels that I felt that this performed around so far in my experience, because I've had a few knives now, quite a few knives now, that had RPM 9 on them, and they do really well. Nice acute tip. I will show you up at the table upstairs. The grind looks a little wonky, but it appears to be very acute, very easy to control. It is a little awkward because it's a big knife. So my indexing ends up about halfway through the spine. It doesn't go all the way through there. Let's just see how this does. There's a little bit of gummed up tape there, and I don't like that to alter the retest here. I might need to get some gum out. It doesn't want to come off easily. Let me just really quickly grab some goof off. I say gum off all the time. It's goof off. I got this off Amazon, guys. I don't think I've linked it yet down below, but I probably should add that because I've had quite a few of you ask me that, where I get it from. And you know, it requires very minimal effort. As you can see, I'm just lightly rubbing over the surface and trying to hit the blade's edge very carefully. I don't want it to hit my fingers. Actually, I'm not on the goof off. I'm on the dry part of the cloth now. And I'm just rubbing across it very gently. I'm not pushing into the cloth at all. I don't want to cut the cloth, and I don't want to cut myself. So just getting that goo off. I know it says goof off, but it's goo off. So it looks like it's nice and clean now. Let's just check it now that I know that there's no tape residue. Yeah, pretty good. It looks like there may be a little bit of tearing happening right in the middle there where I was cutting through the denim and the cardboard. Tell you what, let's drop it a couple times just to see how quickly it comes back. We'll jump ahead. Okay, I did 8 on either side. The truth is, at about 5 or 6, it started to feel really smooth on one side and not the other. So it could be a little bit of an uneven belt grind happening there. But the point being is it came back pretty good to form. It looks like there might be a little bit of a spot there. Whoops. Let's try doing shorter passes. Might have been just rolling. No, there it is. Yeah, so there's a little spot. I'll continue to strop that out. 8 strops is not a lot, guys. Very light strops, light passes across the strop, I should say. So, you know, RPM 9 continues to be a really good steel. I would probably call this very comparable to 9CR, 18 MOV, you know, and you're paying a little bit more than you would for a Sin Cut, but only by a few bucks. So I think it's really worthwhile because the build quality is fantastic, and it is a stainless steel that is going to hold a really good edge for the money, and it's going to be really easy to maintenance. Let's kick it back up to the desk. All right, we're back. I forgot to mention, as a reminder, it is not an edge retention test. I just want to kind of use it in a couple of different situations, right? Just performing those cutting tasks to kind of relay the feedback of what I'm feeling as I'm holding it, what I am experiencing with it while I'm doing those types of cut. I'm not going to do edge retention tests and reviews. That'd be silly because it'd just be a really long video. And if you want to know more about the steel, I recommend maybe checking out like Stasa, because I think he does, you know, like 20-30, you know, when he's cutting the rope and the tubes and wood and cardboard. Like I think he has a certain number that he tries to strive to hit on each video. That's a really good one. What I would like to do with this one before we get into it, though, is I would like to, because I'm still trying to gauge RPM 9. I've had it on the Pyrite, the Echo. I know I've had the Hector and the Prado, but I'm trying to think of that older model that I had RPM 9 on. They went from D2 to RPM 9, and I can't even think of what it's called. My son has one. I got him one for a gift. He leaves it in his room to open his boxes and stuff with. Gosh, it's a really popular CJRB. My editor will have to throw it on there because I'm going to remember doing editing and I don't want to keep trying to think of it. Let's go ahead and jump into the Prado. So the Prado has really excellent ergos, and I'm finding more and more, like the Echo, like the Sokoke, which are Ray Laconico designs. They are a more simple, straightforward design, not anything too outlandish. You know, very, very well done, very tasteful, I would call it, but very nice ergonomically. Now, this one here is a flat scale, whereas my Echo, because I have the premium, is slightly contoured, and the liner lock version of that Echo also was slightly contoured. I think for me, with the larger hands, I do favor the contouring a little bit, but the flat scale, because of the height on here, this is really, really comfortable. You know, I'm in a relaxed position. You can see my fingers are angled back, so I'm kind of able to adjust the grip in a way to where I can get the fingertips on the scale, but still get it to come into the palm enough to where I'm locked in and it feels really, really solid. I'm not directly on the blade's path, but the way that the jimping and the knife lands, I'm able to really easily control, very easily control going through the cardboard, power and push cutting. It's very good for that. Also, I found that this actually does pretty good, even though it's not a big belly. It does have a little bit of belly, and when I was doing the denim cut, it was a little power, to push down through the thickness of the material, but the bite and the geometry helped get it through there where I didn't really have to fight and force it. It just needed a little bit of power behind it. It has a very acute tip, and I mentioned this. I was going to cover this back up here. Just a little wonky on the grind there. I think it's just that the grind on the tip is a little uneven, but it didn't affect any of the draw cuts with the puncture here. And I should have done some cutting or penetrating with the tip to demonstrate it, but I really don't think it would create an issue. It's just a little bit wonky. I don't know if I'm too close to the phone there, but just a little wonkiness. And again, I think that's just where they were putting the edge on here. It's a really good geometry. This thing is very slicey for as big as it is, but I feel like it does have plenty of strength. I don't worry about this being fragile or super delicate. It performed really well. It's just a basic steel fold over pocket clip. This is like a $50 knife right now. Normally, well, here's the thing. When you look at CJRB's website, I think that's like the full MSRP, not what it actually retails for. So I fully anticipate that this will continue to stay around that $50 price point that the Hector does, which is phenomenal value, right? The Hector, we'll bring it out here in a second. I'm not going to do that right now. But the Hector, a little bit smaller, similar build, right? You have build as in the materials. G10, steel fold over a pocket clip, RPM 9. You just have very different designs. Now with this one here, you do have a lanyard pin here, and I don't think I have anything that's going to reach. It's at an awkward angle. There we go. So you do have a little lanyard pin here that has the hole in it. It was rotated the wrong way. So you do have that. I like that it's hidden as opposed to the lanyard hole that the Hector had. You have a reversible deep fold over pocket clip that does lay fat, but it has recessed screws. Fat lays flat. It does have recessed screws, goes all the way deep without catching. It has good retention on it, and it goes in and out of the pocket with no issues. Let's go ahead and demonstrate that on the Hank real quick. This actually goes in really nicely considering it has grippy G10. So I thought, because it looked like on both of them, actually I want to say the Hector, I think the pocket clip on the Hector has a little bit more nose to it, but it does go in nicely. You can see just a slight push, good retention in there. It's not falling out with jiggling around. Now it's sliding around because it's not in a pocket. So I'm trying to cup it without pushing it in, but good retention. It barely moved at all, but when it comes out, pinching it and pulling it out, it comes out very smoothly. So it's a very well done clip. Of course, if you don't like the steel clip, I think Kaiser has a titanium milled fold over or deep carry pocket clip that fits the same screw hole pattern. I also believe, if I recall correctly, I've put the Civivi on that CJRB that I can't remember right now. Gosh, I can't remember what that CJRB is called. It's driving me nuts. Feldspar. The Feldspar had RPM 9, the one that I had. And I have put that Civivi titanium. I don't have it on mine. But it is like this one. It's very much like this. This just stamped. I'm sorry, milled, not stamped. This milled titanium pocket clip. Boy, am I struggling this morning, guys. That I put that on there and it looks really, really nice. Grippy G10. Very nice. Take a listen to the sounds. Deployment on this is fantastic. We'll get there in a second. Kind of in between in person, a ting and a thud. So it has a really cool sound. No side to side to play has developed. No lock rock at all has developed. Studs on the crossbar lock are bull-nosed. I would have liked for them to have that extra step, milling step there. I think that would have been a little bit better. I have found, for me personally, like these bull-nosed ones, while they're not pokey, they do actually require you to increase your grip strength on them, for me, to squeeze to pull them back, especially because the springs are strong, right? And you have to pull back on it. Now, this one here, I've tried to fail it. and I think there is a way. Come, you gotta come off the. It is hard to do because the way that this one is designed, and I showed this on the Hectare, they're doing more of a horseshoe shape here. So it actually requires more effort to overcome that, and it does help retain the blade a little bit better. So on that full fling, unlike the Hectare, it does it does come out, but again, it does require a lot of energy and effort. But just your regular on this one, because of the size, like a regular bounce, like if you're jogging, running, it doesn't come out easily, is what I'm saying. It's very well tuned. I didn't check yet, and we'll probably double check in the disassembly. Yeah, it doesn't look like this one is adjustable. There, I don't know if that's lint. Let me grab my flashlight. I don't know if that's lint. We're going to do the disassembly after. This is opposite. No, it's just one hole. It's just one hole with some lint around it. So, and we'll cover that in the disassembly. No hot spots during the hold. Very well chamfered. Pocket clip, I feel it there, but it's not a hot spot. It's not pokey, not hitting into my hand, not leaving like any unusual marks as I grip onto it. The jimping is a little muted, but it works. You know, it does enough to help keep that thumb there. The pinch grip on here, again, I'm indexing really far out because this is a longer blade. Even with my longer fingers, indexing is about halfway through the blade, so any detailed work, draw cuts, or anything like that, you're going to be on the swedge out in the middle, a little harder to get to the tip. Okay, also for choking up and getting out to that tip. So if you want to control getting into the package, make sure you don't cut into the material. Anything that's in the package itself when you're going through the material is going to work really well. Very nice action. These look very similar to the bearings that were on the Hectare. So it's going to be that caged nylon with ceramic balls. Very, very nice. One thing that I do want to do on this one, I don't really like the green in person. So what I'm hoping is I can use the RIT dye that I have left over from when I did some projects way back in the day. I have some of that sky blue, I think it is. I'm hoping I can just take it to a little bit of a darker blue. This thing really has nice relief cut milling. Weight relief cut. Lord have mercy. Weight relief on the liners here, which help, I think, get it under that 3.5 ounce mark. And it's just really surprised me. If they do the same thing, I'm going to be kind of mad, but also probably would pick one up. But if they do what they did with the Echo, which is they make that premium version of it with the titanium and the inlay, do a different color. I know nobody from CJRB is going to be watching my channel, but do a different color. Don't do the Mars Valley again. You know, you did the purple haze on the Pyrite. You did the Mars Valley on the Echo. Just do something a little bit different here. On this particular one, maybe some 80s camo carbon, which might not be as popular with everyone. Since you already did the purple haze, maybe you want to do, I can't think of what it is from camo carbon, but I think it's like the Arctic blue or something like that, where it's the blue and white. Just, you know, something different. Doesn't have to be any of my recommendations, but, you know, something different if you do a premium version of the Prado. I really like this one. This is nice. This is left-handed, but I'm able to get a full grip on this, unlike the Hectare. The Hectare has a couple of issues. One, I land right on the hump here. So this is more of like something that I would say is the size of your bug out, but has the ergo position or hand grip position of the mini bug out. The other thing too that I really like this one, because it is smaller. Oh, there you go. You see how I fell out of the hole there? Ugh, damn it. It's hard to replicate it. I have to like accidentally do it on occasion. It's because it's not sharp. There you go. So if you don't have a lot of strength to overcome it, it can become an issue with this one. But what I was going to say, is the hole on the Hectare. The hole on the Hectare is bigger. Look at that. But the Hectare the scale itself where it doesn't impede you at all here. I would like to see what you see on the Prado on the Hector. I'd like to see a longer chamfer here for the access to the hole, and it's smoothed out. If you wanted to, so the problem is, oh wow, both on the screen. I've not failed this one at all, but I came off the hole again there because I couldn't quite get into it. The reason that they did this is because it does fill the index finger nicely. But if you notice with the larger hands here, I'm actually kind of spilling out of that hole. So if you wanted to bring it back, I think you could justify it. But I think folks that would appreciate the smaller size for this one here would probably not like that. But it's amazing the difference here between these two for action. I suck doing anything deploying left hand outside of thumb studs and flipper tabs left-handed. I suck at it. I have been very lazy about carrying stuff left-handed here lately, and it's surprising how quick the skill will fall off left-handed. And I'll demonstrate it here as well. Oh, I got it. The meat catches a little bit easier on the bigger hole. I'm really trying, I promise. But I just need to start carrying stuff left-handed more. This one here you got to really get in there and just bam, like you got them, muscle fire it. If you don't have that strength, I tried to like loosely do it, but even then, it seems like for some reason, I guess it's just access, right? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, if you slip out of that hole, like if you're doing it on a Spyderco, anything with a detent ball, because I looked at the Moyarl just now, and the Moyarl would be one. I just was doing it, daggone it. I'm landing in that hole, and I like my muscle memory knows. You know what else? It might be that I don't have that pocket clip on the left. Yeah, see, it takes a lot more strength, it feels like, with that left hand. But anyway, I just wanted to demonstrate, excuse me. Oh, and the pocket clip. I wanted to demonstrate the hole access. No, the pocket clip, does it have more of a nose? You guys tell me in the comments. Does it have more of a nose? Meaning like the nose ramps up more? Or is it just me? Or is it because it's small? But it looks like the Hector has more of a ramp to it. I can't tell. I think they're the same. They look the same. How close can I get these? I don't know. What do you guys think? Can you tell? I feel like I can't get a good angle there to show you. Anyway, we're going to do the disassembly. The disassembly is going to be a little bit different. I am going to complete the takedown and then pause the video and take the scales downstairs, clean them up, get the RIT die and everything done, and just do the RIT die. I'm not going to do a how-to on the RIT die. Honestly, I've done a how-to on the RIT die. What I'll do is I'll link it. So when I get to the midpoint of the disassembly for this one, I will link, like, I think it does it in this corner, but I'll go on YouTube, make sure that I watch to the point where I get to the middle of that disassembly, and then link the how to RIT die video that I did way back in the day. And I apologize, the quality from then till now, because it's been a year or two, probably about 2 years, probably isn't going to be great, but it'll get you the information that you need to know to see it. So, you know, I've experimented so much with my styles, it's going to be a little bit different, guys. Thanks for watching to this point of the video. It helps the algorithm. Shout out to everyone out there that likes, uses links, comments, being subscribed. Thank you for the support, and a special thank you to the channel members. I appreciate that extra level of support that you guys give. It makes all of this possible on the channel. Hope all of you have a fantastic week, guys. Until next time, peace.